Well, that was boring. It's a new year, and 2023 has finally arrived to deliver many anticipated films such as Oppenheimer, Maxine, something else. There are probably other movies I haven't made a list for, nor do I honestly plan to. I really am not the kind of guy who makes anticipated movie lists. The trailer to Ari Aster's Beau is Afraid looks promising, albeit the title is stupid. Come April is also the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which I think might actually be a surprise, and by that, people will stop complaining about Chris Pratt voicing Mario finally. I'm the only guy who from the start didn't think it was a problem with Chris Pratt voicing Mario, but you know. But this month already, despite being January, being a breeding ground for garbage, Megan, or M3 Megan, actually got acclaim across the board, which for a January horror film, that says something. But because last year we got Scream 5, the final chapter, which was great, I thought was a great film that put to rest forced legacy sequels. And come March, we got Scream 6, Ghostface takes the New York subway. I think that was what the Jason movie was called. Jason takes the subway or the yacht. I don't know. We got a good share of brand new movies made from the ground up and other stuff attached to franchises this year. What movie did I start the year off with? Well, TUBI's Good Wife's Guide to Murder. Let's talk about this movie. From the director of several other TV movies such as Mistletoes and Menorahs, Rock and Roll Christmas, and of course, My Mother's Killer Boyfriend, the film is directed by Max McGuire. I don't have much to say, it's a TUBI original movie, okay? That streaming service that's completely free to use and has a great variety of stuff from old school exploitation to modern day acclaimed work, and vice versa in terms of good old movies and bad modern movies. And all you have to do is watch ads once in a while. Their service isn't bad. Honestly, I do kind of recommend TUBI for most people. Like, would I rather watch Netflix? Yes. But I still use TUBI. Sometimes. Eventually, every streaming service, though, needs to have exclusives. And number 8 and number 1 on my worst list of 2022 was SM6 Time Pirates, which I think I was the only guy in the world to talk about, and Titanic 666, which was bad. But this movie is more on par with Corrective Measures, which is where in the right hands it could have worked, but because it's not, it's terrible and too forgettable and boring to be on my worst list because I forgot about it even existing, which could be worse in some cases. And maybe this won't be on my worst list, but maybe, probably. The point is, well, I gone this long without actually saying what the movie is about, so what's Good Wife's Guide to Murder about? Well, loving wife Kate, played by Nola Martin, comes home to find her husband dead and searches around town for answers as she's the most likely suspect, she claims, albeit I don't think anyone says this to her. Anyway, so yeah, she discovers, oh no, there was that one guy at the beginning, but then that stopped, so it's not really that serious, but where was I? Oh yeah, so she discovers everyone she knows has some dirty secret, and her husband isn't who she thought he was. But Kate's determined to find out the truth and bring his killer to justice. Also, she runs a podcast / YouTube channel called Good Wife's Guide to Murder, recounting how wives have killed their husbands and got caught, but that's only what made me interested in watching the movie. You know, I didn't need to see how the podcast would play into it because I thought that was the whole point of the movie. Like, what's this separate from every other movie with the same premise? I should have assumed that not only would the makers of this movie not take advantage of the concept, but it could have been written out of it easily and changes nothing. At most, she uses her fame once to get into somewhere she's not, but not only could the career still be changed, like maybe she's an actress, so the same thing happens. I don't seriously know how they didn't consider actually taking advantage of the concept. Like, I really don't. When I saw the intro of the movie that wasn't great, just giving a typical idea of what an episode or show is like, I think to myself, if they took advantage of the concept, maybe an obsessed fan tries to follow her plan to, get away with murder and put it to test for Kate if what she's doing is right or wrong when she does it as a gimmick, or at the very least use her, she would use her guide to murder to uncover her own husband's murder, but unless I guess you pause the movie, you won't even get told what her actual guide is until she explains it at the end, but I'll get back to that. You might say because she has this plan, of course it makes her the prime suspect, but it really doesn't. It could be run out and still be the same movie. This is just a regular, by-the-numbers Lifetime thriller. A spouse in a seemingly happy marriage, the other spouse gets killed, so the living spouse has to uncover who did it for justice and clear his or her own name, but does it at least do this formula well? I don't know, since it never really engaged me, so, you know, not really, no, it didn't do it well. I saw this video on my phone, I wanted to watch it instead, but I couldn't stop the movie and then do my review, because that'd be unfair to only review a movie based on part of it I saw. My opinion might change at the end, so I had to watch it begin to end, of course, and the movie is just Kate going to a friend or a business associate, discovered they are not who they say they are, those characters not interesting to begin with, so I don't care, and by the end she puts it together, and without spoiling the movie, because again, to be fair, even the killer has nothing to do with the podcast. I thought it was one suspect since I'm thinking how it could tie into our podcast, but it's not her, and who the killer actually is, I honestly didn't see coming, which in some cases that'd be a compliment. But, you know, mostly because the actual killer's reason is dumb, so I don't think I'm wrong for assuming any actual part of the plot would have to do with the gimmick of the film. Like, I shouldn't be wrong for thinking this, right? But no one likes a jerk, so did I actually like anything in the movie? The acting was, okay, minus the husband, because he is definitely one of the most bored-looking corpses I've seen in a while. He looks so uninterested that he died. It's shot okay, granted it constantly feels made for TV, but it's the bare minimum, so good job at that. The ending shot, I almost thought finally it was going to take advantage of it, but not only does her guide to murder not follow all the rules she claims it does, like they show footage for the movie, I don't remember, you know, dozens of minutes ago fitting the context she gives, but even the ending surprise, I thought this finally would work, like, oh, is it gonna be, no, it's not, dang it. But not only does it make little sense, the last shot is just so dumb. Like, I really thought there was something clever they were gonna do, and it's not. I just don't know what else to say. It's a bad movie. It's not awful, it's just boring and forgettable. I saw it for free, so I guess I'm not any madder if, you know, if I had to pay for it, of course I'd be pissed, but, I mean, it was free, and it was up to my own choosing. But if I wasn't doing this review, I would have skipped this movie, like, easily. Like, most of this movie, if I was watching it, I just go to the end to see if, like, I would have cared, or if it was just a person, I guess. But I had to be fair and watch the movie beginning to end to see if it get better. It didn't. But I could see potential in this cast and crew. And honestly, if other people like it, I can get it. They just need a generic, crime thriller to watch. Sure. But this movie will be forgotten, as I will forget this movie in a week like usual. So, take that. I give Good Wife's Guide to Murder a 2.5 out of 10. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing this Reese's Pieces hat. Why am I wearing this? I'm not having a good hair day.